Are we ready for a show? Make some noise, people out there. I want some positive energy. Can we get some applause? Can we get, if you're here to see a show, you're here for Tech Beats and Bytes, make some noise. Let me hear you. Where you at?
Yeah.
That's what we talking about. See, you want the smooth intro, the dope intro made by this dope producer, like this right here.
There we go.
Uh-oh.
Every superhero has a theme song.
Little intro music.
So, welcome to Tech Beats and Bytes.
That's Mike.
And that's Toya. And we are at Tech
Beats and Bytes.
Yes. So, first of all, let's go ahead and get the necessaries out the way. Shout out to our sponsors, the Knight Foundation, our partners in crime, the one that made this happen from the beginning, world famous House of Mac, Chef Teach. I seen Fly Guy holding it down. They were feeding the people. Mm-hmm. Let's get right to a real point. Valencia Gunder. Hold up. Stop the music, self. Valencia Gunder. We know you watching. Let's give her a round of applause. She fed 20,000 homeless people this week.
Tell them.
That's what you got to do for the community.
And we had her on the show.
Yeah, she was on the show. Yeah. So we know real heroes when we see them. So we want to stop the music. But Self-Born, we got cabin fever. So just bring the whole intro back. This going to have to be a Irma special because they might have been in the house too long.
Right.
It was getting bad. All kind of extra emotions for no reason.
That heat does it to you.
Tech Beats and Bytes.
Where your sound effects when they coming?
I am my sound effects.
I heard. Okay, Self-Born.
That was actually pretty good.
That was pretty spot on. So y'all, what we decided to do, we been talking to a couple of people at those little box locations. They really not boxes, but Netflix, Amazon, they starting to watch our content, so we had to switch it up a little bit. They said we should talk about some world issues. So Self-Born, can you fade us out so we can get into it? So we thought we'll have a couple of conversations about a couple of things before we call our guest on. Real issue that we wanted to address was the beautiful Queen Jamil Hill for calling Trump
white supremacist.
Yeah, I couldn't say it just in case we get sued. It's better, women stay on air when they say things like that. So I'm gonna let Toya say that kind of stuff. So
I mean, it's public knowledge now. She's been in the news. It's been all topics of conversation across different stations.
Yeah, and I mean, this is my thing. If the president can lie on Twitter and other platforms and say stuff that could affect the world economy, and you get to keep your job, how you trying to get her fired for voicing her opinion about you?
Yeah, and I think once you have the president, someone in that office, then calling for people to get fired, that's like real serious censorship. Yeah, and it's a little bit too much. Like
it's kind of real petty.
What right do you silly little Negroes have thinking you're going to critique the white man and his world and his laws?
Well, that's why we're doing it here on the air. So this is how I feel about it. First of all, Jamil, we appreciate you for speaking up and being brave enough to say what you had to say. So shout out to that sister. And I forgot which HBCU she went to, but I think she went to one.
I mean, she was just speaking her mind. And
this is my thing. Trump, run the world. Quit worrying about Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Let us run social media. You run the White House. We'll do our part. You do your part. So everybody got a lane. We still don't even know how you got into that lane. That's like that HOV lane where you're supposed to have 3 other people in the car with you. You pull over, get a ticket. You deserved a ticket a long time ago, sir. Just stay in your lane and make that work. Leave Jamil alone. The woman is beautiful. She's just doing what she's supposed to do. So
and it was her personal account. It wasn't like she was on ESPN's time. Or,
right.
You know what I mean?
But it doesn't matter. No, overall, actually, we need more of the outlandishness. We need more of the retarded lane so that it could be apparent. Because if you think back to civil rights, when things really made a difference, everybody knew about injustices and black people can't do this and brown people can't do that. But until it was spread across national television, from images of Emmett Till to images of college students having coffee and stupid shit being done to them and things that are like inhumane even to a racist person to where they can't ignore it, it has to get to a level of ignorance to, you really can't ignore it, that you have to do something about it. But, so I kind of say, yes, let the ignorance happen. Let more of the stupidness happen because people that are not inflicted have to be the ones to speak up. So all your non-black people that are seeing this stuff happen have to be the voices and the pillars that the change is going to stand on.
And I mean, it didn't bother me until you got into a deeper point where a 9-year-old boy got dragged out of his chair for not standing up for a Pledge of Allegiance.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know this ain't really the place where we going to do it, but let's be mindful of each other. We saw our community come together, and Miami, South Florida is one of the most diverse places in the world or in the United States. And if we were able to come together and pull each other after storms, some of this other stuff have to die, because right now, Facebook is just killing me. It's just way too much. It's just way too much.
Calling out ignorance, that's the main point. The more you see it, the more you can call it out. If you don't see it, the more covert it is. That was the greatest trick ever done, to make racism covert. When it was overt, you knew what it was. It was a line drawn. You didn't have to worry about it. You knew you were against it. So that's what we got to do.
And I mean, just reflecting on Trump just real quick, you know, when Obama was in office, he was leading the whole birther movement, right? So you had him.
More lies.
Exactly. But I guess nobody could fire him, right?
It's a distraction.
It was his own company.
Right.
So, you know, you have to sort of think about the dynamics there, and, you know, just he needs to reflect on his own, what he did before he was in that office, and just think about it for a little bit before he starts to call somebody else's career.
The only reflection that man is worrying about is his hair. That's the only reflection he pay attention to.
Right. I think we should move off of Trump.
Can we celebrate something? Can I celebrate? Can we celebrate? I'm happy this week. Can we celebrate?
Yeah, I mean, urban cabin fever was... Who had cabin fever during Irma? I see you in the back, yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
What was some of the things y'all did to get through? Like, shout them out to us real quick.
How many Hail Marys did you say?
We got some drinking motions in the back.
Is that drinking or smoking? Which one?
Both.
Okay.
But I'm celebrating. I didn't have to walk away from my life, as I know.
Right.
Yes, you got to preserve the vinyls.
I have a record collection. It's very hard to just throw on your back and say, I'm going to go this way.
What was one thing that y'all bought that y'all realized that y'all really didn't need? Because I got a whole bunch of extra gummy bears.
Well, you should have knew better. Look, that's not an essential.
I don't even understand how organic gummy bears was going to save my life, but I thought there was some kind of nutrients in the organic part.
Like a first world
It was going to make you happy. That's what
I got a whole bunch of gummy bears.
Right? Those red gummy bears are going to make you happy.
And I got a case of ginger beer. I have no idea how that was.
That's like us. We had wine. We had champagne.
So during the Walking Dead apocalypse,
I was going to be drunk as hell.
We're going to be at Mike's crib with gummy bears and ginger beer.
Bruh. I had ginger beer and a whole thing
of
1800 tequila.
Right. We was playing charades in the dark with our phones. It was rough.
It was kind of...
It was rough.
We had a good night. We got to look through a lot of comic books. Found a lot of comic books. We enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And I'm painting some tree trunks from the palm trees. So I'm creating some art. So that was the fun part.
And you gonna do what you gonna do with it? You selling it? Gotta let everybody know you gonna post it.
I'm gonna sell them and then I'm gonna donate the money. But 30% of it is going to my little nephew Rashada for his because he helped me do it. So I'm giving him 30% for his like a scholarship for him to go to college. So he can't use the money till he's 18.
Oh, that's dope.
So that's what I'm gonna do with it. So
See,
I got creative, but I was about to kill myself in that.
Right. The hurricane make you bring out your good.
No, it was great. It was time for reflection.
It was.
Absolutely.
Smoke when you got good. When you sit and reflect.
When you got good herbs.
No, when you have good tea.
We know
whatever leaves you
company.
got, however, whatever you do. You reflect on. That's how much she loved Timeline beer. Right. It's all over her, son.
Got it.
Put the bag on it. Yeah.
That sounds like a new Rick Ross song. Put the bag on.
What we got?
Shout out
What's next? What's next?
I think that's about it. But I really wanted to make sure, we're going to bring up more topics, but we really wanted to make sure that we gave a shout out to everybody in the community. And in case you guys don't know, I forgot the location, but world famous House of Matt, they teamed up with iHeartRadio and they fed a lot of people that didn't have power and food. So let's give a round of applause for Chef Teach and the world famous House of Matt, Keon Hartman, Tease, Headliner Marketing Group. Did a lot of good things. Headliner Market Group. Always
right. And let's talk about the results of the event that we had here.
Yeah.
The benefit concert. How'd that turn out?
So we raised close to $5,000.
Nice.
So that was good. Put together some money. So it was kind of weird, though, because you were raising for Harvey.
And Irma was coming.
And it was like, let me get some of them supplies back real quick. No offense to my people in Houston. Y'all got it much worse than we did. So we still helping you out. So the hurricane relief, Harvey MHH relief on the Give Miami site, Give Miami Foundation is still up and active. So we still taking money. We did much better than the people in Texas. So Texas and Florida strong. We gonna keep holding them down.
Absolutely, and we can't forget about the Keys. Can't forget about Key West.
And I'm gonna say it wrong, so she gonna be mad. Barbuda, the islands. One time to my island. Hey, we got to take the sign down. The wind ain't working today. The islands that got hit, you know, gonna do everything we can, but got to rebuild. I mean, it was a good time to realize what we haven't been doing right, what we need to fix.
Exactly. So we ready to start?
I think we're ready to start. So we're gonna take a 1-minute break. This is just enough time for you to grab a drink, place your order for some food with Brazilian fire, with world famous House of Mac. But we're gonna bring up our guest, DC. We got a real icon out here today, and girl power. We got some real stuff happening today.
Right.
So let's bring our guest up real quick and get into the show. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start all over this. All right, Self-Born, let's fade it out. Let's get into it with our guests. Let's get into part one of the show. So we have some superheroes on the stage with us. That's all we request. We no longer will have special guests. We have superheroes.
Dun, 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 dun.
Look at boy, y'all coming. Y'all been in the house way too long.
Everybody
Making
got
We
sound
have our
effects.
own sound effects. I'm saying.
Making extra noises and stuff. But, you know, actually, before we even go there, I forgot to do this. Thank you to everybody that came out. I know some of y'all still don't have power, but y'all came out and y'all are here. So give yourself a round of applause for coming in and supporting us tonight.
And taking that traffic, because school was back
All
in today.
700 of y'all. It's so crowded out there.
It's swole.
So we're going to actually let you superheroes introduce yourself since we ain't got your own theme music. So we're going to start off with ladies. Rashada, why don't you go ahead and tell the people a little bit about yourself and your organization?
Hi, everybody. I am Rashada C. I'm the operations director of a nonprofit organization here in Miami called Girl Power. We service girls ages 11 to 17 with several different empowerment programs, after school mentoring, diversion programs, just anything for girls, middle and high school.
Anything for girls. All
Love
right.
that.
Y'all not going to clap for her? Let's give her a round of
I'll clap.
people changing the community. And y'all just, oh, I'm sorry. We don't have a look.
No, Girl Power's deep.
We seen them. Y'all
We
came
rolling
through about
deep in
20
here.
deep, but we
Yeah.
ain't got the kind of money yet that Jimmy Fallon got. So ain't no sign going to come up that say clap now and applause. Y'all
It's
gonna
coming,
have to,
though. It's coming.
Y'all going to have to work with me on that. We going to work on that next. All right, go ahead, Mr. Hey, I just wanted y'all to know DC got this photo. This Black Panther photo that's going to be on the alternative. I'm just letting y'all know I'm releasing that photo for $29.99. I'm putting it on a T-shirt. Go ahead, DC. Give us a little intro.
Well, we thank you, brother. My name is William D.C. Clark, retired firefighter, activist in the community, president of I Care, which is inner city alumni for the responsible education, trying to bring up to speed our urban core schools to that of those that live in the suburbs. We think we deserve just as much or more than they do. I'm the former owner of Afro Books and Things, which was an old establishment here, one of the largest bookstores here in Florida. And after my retirement from the fire department, I decided to create my own firm, a consulting firm, but from that sprung what I'm currently doing, which is a DCS mentoring program. It's a program that deals with young men ages 8 to 17. They don't necessarily have to be the worst kids in the community, because those who live in the suburbs need help too. They need to know how to navigate life's problems, and we're there for them.
So, first thing I'm gonna actually get to before we forget is Self-Born. Does he sound more like Martin Luther King or more like Malcolm X?
Martin Luther X.
Martin Luther X.
A hybrid.
So, this is kind of as you see, we kind of theme things together in a way. And you have mentoring platforms, one focused on males and one focused on females. But what do you guys see, or what are some of the, I guess, relevant weaknesses that you're seeing across the boards with this generation of high school and teenage kids in South Florida? Like, what are some of the things that maybe we don't see because nobody up here has teenage kids? So, and we primarily work with adults. What are some of the things you guys are seeing in the community right now that's really a weakness for our community?
Okay, well, I think as the black community, we're in trouble. Because while others, communities, other races, other nationalities, other cultures are preparing their young men to be men at 13, we're keeping our young men babies until they're 18, 19, and after that point, it's hard to get their ass out of the house. So in essence, we have to prepare our young men to be men at a much earlier age. And I know we don't have that much time, but I would like to share this simple story. I went to a seafood restaurant in Boca one time. Young Jewish guy approached me. He was about 12, 13 years old. He asked me, how was the food? I said, young man, the food was nice. He laughed, he stated he was the owner. And I chuckled because that wasn't the norm in our community.
Right.
But his father came behind him and said, no, he is the owner at 13.
That speaks about volumes.
And so think about that. He's a man controlling his business at 13, and we're buying our kids true religions, and they don't even have the nerve to go out there and cut the yard and earn it. So I tell my kids, you're in competition with three things. You're in competition with yourself, the worst of yourself versus the best of yourself. And whoever wins is the one you're feeding the most.
Ooh, love that. 2,
you're in competition with the rest of the world. If you make an A- in China, they're going to cash you. Those are the ones that's coming to America. They only keep A+ in China. And 3, you're in competition with technology. Technology is going to take the place of every human being walking within the next 5 years. So if you don't get off your ass and do what you're supposed to do and be held accountable, and we as parents have to challenge our kids to be the very best that they can be, then you've lost them forever.
Want to kind of dig into your first point. Definitely give him a round of applause because he dropped some major jewels in that response. When you're talking about sort of preparing our young boys to become men at an earlier age, I know that you're doing a lot with your mentoring programs and what you do in the community, but what are some of the steps to do that? We like giving solutions on this platform. So give us some tips, some information that people could take home and apply in their homes.
Well, at DCS Mentoring, and I can attest to Sister Thema and Girl Power and CAW, they're doing some good things over there as well. But we give them a list of things that they must do around the house. Why? Because the family is the best game you got. So we talk about game activity. Well, your family is the most important game you got. And you're just like a hand with certain fingers. And the family only is as strong as each individual working independent of each other, but working together. And so those independent entities that are working together form this fist. And then you have a strong entity. But if the big brother ain't doing anything, and you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you got a deadbeat dad, mom working her ass off, and you got maybe another sister who might be doing something. So you got 2 appendages working out of a possible 5. So you're at a disadvantage. So the best game you can do is cut your yard, take out your trash, clean the dishes, clean the room, clean the bathroom. That may sound simple, but that takes the burden off of mom, right? Primarily mom. That takes the burden off the family in general. And as a young man, my first job was at 14 years old, so I challenged him, beat me. Going out there and find some work.
I had a job at 9.
You understand me? So that's what you have to do. We cannot allow another culture to be owning a high-scale restaurant at 13 and you sitting around playing video games at 19.
Right.
You're through. You're done.
All right, so, boy, a lot of people have to watch this about 3 times to get their whole life back
Take
together.
some notes.
Rashada, now that we know what every young man need to do to get his life together, what about the young ladies? What are some of the things that you've seen in the community And what are some of the things that you see need to be adjusted?
Well, what I can say about the young ladies that I've worked with in Girl Power, love is missing from a lot of them.
Okay, so I'm sorry, we're going to make this note real quick. I love the eye contact and everything, but I'm going to have to watch this later. Look straight ahead, talking to the mic. Your voice is too soft. There you go.
Like this.
Yeah,
Right,
you
like
got
a
to talk
rapper.
into
Like
the
the
camera.
rapper.
Yes,
Like a rapper.
exactly.
Okay.
There you go.
So I
Talking to
think
the
that
camera.
a lot of the young ladies are missing love, self-love, and just love for other people. A lot of them are desensitized to, things that they're exposed to at such a young age. The violence. I didn't do that.
It's okay.
It's okay.
The violence,
catch, though.
the abuse, just a lot of things that other people are traumatized by that our girls face every day, and it's just their life. And they just become desensitized to so many different things that abuse becomes normal. Being talked to really bad is normal. Being hit is normal. Somebody getting raped or somebody dying, somebody getting shot, it's all normal to them. And so just the love of mankind, self-love is what a lot of the girls are missing. Another thing that I think that the girls are missing, whatever.
We know the point.
You know
It's okay.
what I'm saying.
No grammar police up here.
Going back to technology, and we have a STEAM camp for girls during the summertime. It's a Girl Power STEAM camp, and it takes girls from Overtown and Liberty City, and it exposes them to different components of science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics, and breaking things down to a level where they can understand. It's like you have the world at your fingertips, right? Instead of using this phone to take selfies,
Instagram thoughts.
Instagram, all of these different kinds of things.
Right.
Use your phone to access information. Why are you asking me questions? Listen, Google is right on your
Right
phone.
there.
The same access to internet that you're using to look up Lil Kim's whatever and what are Nicki Minaj lyrics.
Right.
Listen, this is a learning tool for you. And just breaking it down to a level that they can understand. And then once you get them bringing it to a level that they can understand, then exposing them to, look how much money this person makes per hour. You want those bundles? Listen, you can get as many bundles as you want, like just bringing it to a level that they...
Hold on.
Yes.
You got some people in here that may not understand what a bundle is.
Bundles.
I know what a bundle is, but you might want to break that down.
Unpack that.
Unpack them
that.
bundles
I'm
for
sorry,
us.
guys.
We need a legend at the
Bundles
corner of the
is hair
screen.
weave.
So bundles is how you get hair weave for
Right.
those that just don't know.
It's
I
how
just,
hair weave is
It's the
sold.
pack.
I just thought that should be
is a
broken
bundle.
down a little bit.
And it's
That Brazilian bundle costs you about $125. It's
absolutely, and you need about 3 to
3
4
bundles
packs.
to get
Yeah.
it done. Then you cutting it down. So you talking about $600 for a real good hairdo?
Exactly.
They know how to do that, but they don't know how to Google their homework. But
Exactly. And so just breaking it down to a level that they can understand to grab their attention and then show them the opportunities that are available to them through technology. These kids will amaze you. Well, I'm not amazed anymore because I've seen it done summer after summer, but the things that they come up with, business plans, and they know, listen, these kids are brilliant and they know how to hustle. It's a way of life for them. Like, how can you imagine living off of food stamps per month and you getting, let's just say, $100 a month in cash? But these kids, they have to come up with an action plan. Like, I'm going to break it down to you, the reality of how am I going to get my hair done? Okay, I can do this to get $5 from my mama. I can do this. And it's like a business plan, but they don't know that that is a business plan. You're looking at your resources, looking at the access, and just putting it in a language that they understand. Listen.
I mean, it sounds so relatable because I can remember, I think, Toya, we probably had this conversation about 3 years ago
Right.
where we were saying that we really want to get some of the high-end tech people to visit these schools and visit kids, because what I was going to do is one day I was going to rent a Lamborghini. Not because I will own it, but just to rent it. And I wanted the kids to come outside of the classroom and be greeted by me, and for them to have to say, so what are you doing? You know, you would get the, oh, he must be a rapper. Oh, he must do this. But to tell them, no, I'm in technology and I run startups, because they can only be motivated by what they see. And I mean, a lot of people in tech are kind of humble, but these kids need that knowledge and that exposure. So, but more than just the technology and the vision, and I know Toya has a question immediately following this one, but one thing I see relative is self-respect and self-love.
Right.
I see that to be something that's consistently missing. It seems to be just a lot of self-doubt. And it's not that you want to be a dream killer, but sometimes you got to reinforce positivity in a much more, I guess, reality way. So what do we do to help young men understand how to respect young women? But, you know, I think almost every man becomes vulnerable when they first get their heart broken. But it seems like these young men ain't even becoming vulnerable when they get their heart broken. They're becoming that way just because that's what they see, and they just think that's the path to take. So, DC, how do we train these young men to, because if a young man knows how to treat and respect a woman, it starts to break down this pattern that's so messed up, because now that young woman that Rashada was talking about is getting treated better and she knows how to respect herself.
I totally agree. That's why we've implemented within DCS mentoring program an etiquette class. Now, etiquette normally is related to young ladies, but young men have to know what etiquette is all about too. Now, etiquette is more than just knives and forks and the placement of napkins and so forth. Right. It's conflict resolution. It's how do you treat your woman or your young lady, your mate, your date, on that particular date. What if you're accosted by some young men who notice how nice she looks? How are you going to get out of that conflict without fighting or cursing or just basically just handling your business? How are you going to get out of that conflict? So we implore that. We go over that. We talk about that. We play act that. We bring young ladies in, and I have an extraordinary etiquette instructor, Zakir Shakur, who actually teaches African kings and queens. We can't afford her.
Related to Tupac by now?
No. We can't afford her, but she saw that what we were trying to do, and she not necessarily volunteered her services, but she lowered her prices. But you're right. Our young men can't respect young ladies or anybody else until they respect themselves. So we have a heavy dose of history, heritage, and culture. One of the first movies I show my kids is that of, and you mentioned it earlier, Emmett Till. Why? Because they're of that age. Yeah. They happened to them, to Emmett Till at the age of 14. It's still happening to you, not as blatantly, not as overt. But when Trump talked about, writing various laws in the Senate and the Congress, they're talking about you, eliminating your rights, eliminating your laws, eliminating your rights as a human being. So in essence, we go all over that. And we have to challenge these young men. I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, and we were still dealing with segregation for the most part. So our parents, we had chores. Even when we were in the project, we used to have to scrub the wall, that little patch of grass in the project, we used to have to cut that. You understand me? Now, parents are trying to outdo each other. We're giving kids thousands of dollars of gear, of technology, and they don't have to do a damn thing. You are killing your child when you do that. You're killing them. They have to be made to know that they are an integral part of this family. And the last thing I will share with you is this. Speaking of families, you are a part of a certain ilk. Your charge as a kid, as a young man, is to take your family legacy higher. So great-grandmama ran her race and gave it to your grandmother. Grandmother ran her race and handed it off to your mother. Your mother ran her race and then handed it off to you. Now, the ball or that baton is in your court. You're going to do one of two things. You're going to run that race as fast as you possibly can and as positive as you possibly can and take your family legacy higher, or you're going to do some dumb shiggity and turn around and run where they just came from. You see that visual? You have to instill that in a young man's mind as soon as he can think on his own. And I'm not talking about 13, 14. I'm talking about 4 and 5. It has to be early. It has to be often. He has to understand his meaning to that family and to the rest of the community. If he doesn't understand that, we are lost as a community.
I know y'all thought it was Monday, but obviously it's Sunday at 12:30, and this is the sermon.
He's been like this all my life, as long as I can remember.
DC is a superhero, I'm telling you.
But it's good stuff.
That's what we need to
Good
hear.
stuff.
Toya, go ahead.
Yeah, so, a lot of people sort of talk about the ills of the community and they sit on the sidelines, but you two are in it. You're a part of it. What made you decide to volunteer your time, become a member of the activism community, really get in, dig in, work with the kids? What sparked that? I know, Rashada, you have a history in your family.
I do.
But share a little bit about how you got started and what made you decide to do the work that you're doing.
I do. As DC mentioned earlier, Concerned African Women, that's where my mom started off as when I was a young girl. That's how I met Mr. DC.
Yes, ma'am.
And they did work in the community. And even though my mom, she was one of the founders of the organization, when I went with her, which I did go with her to work, and I worked, and there wasn't like a division of, oh, that's the boss's kid, and I get to go play and not participate. Oh, no. I had to participate. I had to work, handing out flyers, just everything that I was capable of doing, and some stuff that I wasn't capable of doing, I had to do. There was no question. I had chores. I was doing this work in the community. And so one summer when I was down from college, I was a camp counselor at Girl Power. My mom had started Girl Power. Sorry, you guys didn't know that, but yeah. And so I was on the end of actually being in a leadership position and not being like in it with the rest of the participants. And the girls were like, ooh, you go to college? You live in Georgia? And I'm like, yeah, and you can go too. Really? How? And it's like, for me, the thing that moved me, I went to school. I studied biology. I did just everything that goes along with it. And there's a million people in this world who can go and do autopsies, and there's a million people who can do that other kind of work. But it's like, to come back and for a young girl to see me as a way that they can actually get out to, a way to create exposure for them. And for, like, my life can be your reality. I don't have this great elaborate life, but you can go to college, you can move to different parts of the world, you can move out of Florida. And it's like, one point that I didn't say was mentoring is so important. And so many people out there think that they can't mentor somebody. Mm-hmm. If you have a job, even if you don't have a job, you can mentor a person, and you don't know what you can say to a young person that inspires them to move forward. And I felt like I needed to get into Girl Power and be an inspiration to these girls in Liberty City, Overtown, Little Haiti, that college is not a reality for them. And a girl who they may see driving a nice car or live in a nice place, like you dance, strip, you are married to a football player or a basketball player, and it's like, no, girl, get your stuff together. You need those credits that they talking about. You need to get them up. You need to be applying for colleges, looking at where you want to go. And this can be your life. As a matter of fact, I don't want this to be your life. Yes, I want you to come back and give to your community, but I want you to do better things than me. I want you to go forward. I want you to be a doctor and a lawyer. And I want you to remember, once you get to that high platform, I want you to remember me and how I made that a reality for you, how I did that, how I exposed you to something. And I want you to come back and spread the word. And I want you to expose that same thing to young girls or young boys looking at you and the great things that you did. And you just always have to give back. So
be that example.
That is what led me. Anybody can go and get a degree and whatever, but it spoke to me that this was a way to get more girls to go past where I've been.
Absolutely.
I think at the end, I won't be happy until when a young black man comes and is able to pitch or have a conversation, the conversation doesn't end with, oh my, you articulated that so well. I want to get to a point where for young black men and women, their intelligence is not an is not, I guess, an oddity,
Right.
but it is actually something to be expected of them.
Right.
Because I mean,
It's the
even
norm.
me,
it's not anything that's like, oh, you got to talk about it.
because I'm
Just point
telling
it
you,
out.
I'm giving the warning out right now. If I'm in one more meeting and somebody say to me, oh my gosh, you articulated that so well, I'm going to snap. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to snap.
Tell me.
I didn't just get smart last year. My parents went to college. Had to start working when I was 9 years old. In the summertime, I still had to read books and give reports to my mom and write essays.
Your mom did that
Yes,
too?
bro.
Oh
that
my God,
was
me
painful.
too. I had book reports.
I wanted to get to that Nintendo so bad, them book report. And it was a full page on college rule paper.
Right.
So I had a lot of writing to do. I was like, Mama, what about the wire? Nah, you want to be in wire rule all your life? Don't you want to go to college?
Exactly.
All right. So, I mean, I think what you guys are doing is fundamental, and I think it was the blessing of the storm. These are the kind of conversations that people don't realize, no matter what's going on in our community, our youth is what's going to push us to this next level, and you guys have the organizations that are pushing our youth. So, honestly, y'all had some of the best stories. I think these were the least amount of questions we've had to ask to carry a conversation. So, do we have any questions from the audience? Yes?
We have a
Q,
question.
where you at? We're going to walk. Come on. Q's going to bring you up. Q will take you to the...
Come on, Vanna.
Yeah, turn on the lights. It's kind of dark, man.
Right.
Turn off the lights.
When the sunset conversations become nighttime conversations.
So, right here, Q is taking the questions. We trying to get all of our team back. All of our team has missed each other. Rosie, Alicia, the family's back together. You know, we ain't seen each other for... This is the longest time we ain't seen each other since we
Right.
started.
Yeah.
By the way, it was only a week, but it was long.
Feels like forever.
Hey, everybody. So this question is for DC and Rashada. How can the people in the audience and the people watching get in touch with you guys, and what do you need when it comes to fundraising efforts?
Ooh, talk about that money.
For us, we are 501c3, but we're in our infancy. It's only our our third session. So you can follow me on William D.C. Clark Facebook, which is the best one, or you can contact me, dcclark88 at gmail.com.
Or just shine the Black Panther light up into the sky off of a cloud, and DC will
And
be
he'll
there
pop
to
up.
answer. DC will be there.
Get
Just
a little
put it in the
old
sky.
in the tooth, brother. But thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Go ahead, Rashada. How we reach you?
And you all can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Girl Power Miami. That's our handle?
Your handle.
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's our handle on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also visit our website, www.girlpowerrocks.org, and learn more about our organization. If you want to make donations, I carry the square in my purse.
Boom, there it is.
And what about volunteers?
So hold on. Only because we're running out of time. We know we
Yeah.
gotta get, but I think this is gonna be one of the most interesting
Rapid
quick
fire.
six. Yeah, this got to be great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. You felt that one? You
Yep.
felt that one? Okay.
Yep.
So, DC, we really looking forward to your responses on this. But Rashada, don't hold back.
All right.
All right. So you got to pick a song that's representing your life right now. One song or one album. What's that song gonna be, or what's that album gonna be?
Quick answers.
Quick answer. Just one.
Fight the power for me. It always have been.
Of course.
Always have and always will.
Will be, right?
For me, it will be I Love Music. Yeah.
Okay.
By, I think the OJ sings
Yes.
that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
okay.
because, like,
Classic.
can I say
classic
why?
music.
No, you can't say why, but we'll take
Right.
it. We got to
Okay.
keep going.
Afterwards. That's
All
a
right,
that's a
fine.
bar
I
conversation.
bar
love
conversation.
music. OJ's.
Go ahead, Toy.
Since we were talking about superheroes, if you had a superhero alter ego, what would the name of your superhero be?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, that wasn't me. Somebody coined me Shaft one time, so I
I
guess
can see that too.
I'll take that one.
Shaft, can you dig it? Rashada, what you got?
Sophista Trap Queen.
That sounds like a T-shirt. That's
What?
good.
It is. It would be. Like,
that's
I'm
good for a
Sophista
T-shirt.
Trap Queen. Like,
Alicia, go ahead and trade
All
it right
those
there so we can
things.
get that T-shirt money royalties. If you had to pick a movie or a TV show that represented your life, what would it be?
Insecure.
Okay.
Autobiography of Malcolm X.
Oh, it's just getting better.
That's what's up.
I mean, that's him.
It is.
He talks to 6-year-olds just like that, too.
Got to.
6, 20, 26, 60. You get the
Same.
same thing. Same message, same
That's
delivery.
hilarious. So we got a bar in the back. What's your drink of choice?
Yes.
Patron.
1738.
Ooh.
I'm just serious. That's my
Fetty
drink.
Wap?
Keep it
I'm
real.
sorry.
Look.
We ain't even got that at the bar. You got to order that for most most corner places. You got to order that. So I think close them out with one more.
Yeah. And I think Q-Man, we actually may have an audience question.
Okay, we're gonna do this one. Actually, let's do the audience question.
Yeah.
Then we'll close out with the last one. Hurry up, Q.
Be nice.
The last audience question is, what programs do you offer for the students in the community? What individual programs do you offer, and what do they target?
We might have to go through that on the website. That's a lot.
Yeah, but the most important thing, too, is to read. Pick up a book, read. Hopefully you got images of self so that can improve your self-worth. But we must learn how to read at an early age.
Q, they got a STEM program, too, for
Girls.
girl powers. They have a
Yeah.
STEM program, so that's
yes,
real big.
we have a STEAM.
STEAM, yes.
STEAM.
Include the arts. We do a STEAM summer camp every year, and throughout the school year, we have our after-school program at Georgia Jones Ayers Middle, which is formerly Allapattah Middle School, and also Brownsville Middle School. We have a girls' choir, which, by the way, will be having our 5th annual gospel brunch on Sunday, December the 3rd. I hope that all of you
Nice.
guys can attend. At Beth David Congregation, we'll have a celebrity chef, so everybody check that out. Visit our website to get your tickets. And we also have a prevention program for girls that are first offenders. We get them back on the right track, make sure that they're not rearrested, and that's what we do.
Facebook, that was not an ad, and she did not pay us to say that. Just want to clear that
Oh,
up.
sorry.
I'm just like,
It's good. It's good. It's
That was
good.
great, though. We're
Yeah.
gonna make sure you got to give us the information so we can put it in a newsletter. So, final question: 5 years from now, you read the perfect headline in the Miami Herald. What does that headline read?
Mama Hattie's house receives $10 billion donation to continue services and programs for girl power.
Claim it. Claim it.
That was billion with a B. That was not million, by
Right.
the way. Just more that to
In
be
the
clear.
name. Claim it. That's right.
And that's not going to be in Miami Herald, Google News.
Okay.
Okay.
My headline would be, young black men across the country are exceeding expectations and doing what they should be for their families and their community.
All right. Well, look, we do not have DC's drink back there. We cannot afford that at the bar, but please meet them at the bar and buy them a drink and get to know them. And let's give them a round of applause as we get ready for our
Thank you
next
for
guest.
coming.
Thank you,
out.
guys. Thank you so much for
You're
having
very
us.
welcome.
All right.
It was a pleasure.
Self-Born, let's give us some theme music while we get up our next guest. Danie Spikes, don't go nowhere. It's about to be entertaining. So we're back for part two
Dos,
of our
dos.
post-Irma cabin fever edition. So we know y'all been stuck in the house. Y'all still got some friends without power and stuff. So we thought we'll bring a little bit of a lighter side to the use of technology and talk about the dating world of South Florida. So if you need to get a drink, if you need to get a drink, this would be the drink that you get it on the rocks or neat.
Did I say that out loud? That was
Right.
You
in my
said it
brain.
all out.
Or hit up that red wine.
Yeah.
We got wine?
No need for a chaser for this part. It's about to be real unfiltered. So we have brought to the stage the great Danie Spikes of Spike Brunch. Let's give her a round of applause.
I think he said give her a round of applause.
Yeah.
I will wait.
Right. Command your
Thank
applause.
you. Thank you so much.
That just set the tone of how the rest of the show is going to be. So if you are
She
not
is
paying
the
attention, please.
ambassador
Love
of
it
love.
already.
So, Danie, I'm going to jump right in because I know LaToya invited you on the show and that's your friend. You my girl too, but
Don't do me like that, man.
Right.
That's how
Right.
Don't do me. We ain't got to be that way.
That's your friend.
I just want to know, with the imbalanced ignorance of South Florida as it is, how is the dating scene in South Florida right now? Talking to the mic, talking to the
Right.
mic.
Like a rapper. Like a rapper.
Testing 1, 2.
Yes, talking to the mic.
Shit.
Silence.
When I received the email, I just want to go ahead and preface this by saying it was supposed to be light, and this is not a light conversation. The dating scene in South Florida is...
Hold on. Just so you know, we always tell our guests it's going to be light till you get here.
So this
Lack
is
of
just the loop.
preparation.
Right. Organic conversation.
You got a drink. That's as light as it need to be. The drink is light. Let's go.
The dating scene in South Florida is different.
I heard hard in the crowd.
Right.
This is the first time I heard the crowd talking this much. Hard. It's hard.
Help me, please.
Okay, so
You know, it's hard out here for anyone dating in South, especially when you think you have more options than you really have. But I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it right there.
Toya, do you wanna say it?
Options.
She said it's hard when you think you
Think.
have more options.
Think was the operative word.
Let's go Alabama. When you think you got more options than you do, it's hard. What can you just unfold it, unpack that a little bit, as we
Unpack
like to
that.
say on Tech Beats and
Right.
Bytes.
Thanks to Dwight Bullard for that.
Yeah, the white bullet for the unpacking theme.
Yes.
Unpack the lack of options for us. Just tell us about
The
that.
reality is that you know, we live in a social media world. Thank God we have platforms to communicate. But a like doesn't mean that I actually like you in real life. A heart doesn't mean that I'll actually be with you and support your
Going to
dreams.
need another drink.
Church.
I'm about to. You know what?
Take
I'm
a
not
sip.
a passive. I'm about to give a word today to somebody. Okay.
Go. Let it go. Let it go.
Sometimes
Somebody
it
need
is.
to hear this. Somebody right now watching this on their laptop
Need to hear
and they
this.
needed to hear this truth.
Somebody
hear
needs
this.
to
Somebody
receive
drop
the
the
word.
PayPal so we can get our tithes
Because they
and
thought it was
offerings.
better than it was. They need
Right.
to hear this.
Okay. You know, just don't assume that just because you have chemistry online, don't forget there are so many filters online. You get to choose which version of yourself you portray online. There's a
you
lot
say?
of people who
My
think
Lord.
I'm a pillar of the fucking community online, and I am. But I also like trap music and Jack Daniels, and I can have both. All right? Hello? I'm talking to you in the back, okay?
So, in other words, what
Come
you
get me,
saying
Michael.
is we
Gonna get got.
look. I'm on your side because that's how I feel. We can be
gave
ratchet
me
when
the
we
street
have
shoes.
to, but we can
Right.
take care of the community when we have to.
Absolutely. But if you look online, there are a lot of people that if you don't watch my Instagram stories, if you don't actually interact with me, you would think that I'm a certain type of person, and that happens all the time. But the reality is that there's so many more facets of me. So we always go into, not we, because I'm married. Y'all always go into situations like, you know, I can do better. There's this whole I can do better mentality, especially in South Florida. There are other options. But sometimes it is what it is. You get what you cultivate a relationship with a person that actually wants to cultivate a relationship with you,
Teach
not
'em.
the person that you
Teach
want to
'em.
cultivate a relationship with. Hello?
So, how long have you been married?
I've been, oh my God, my 2-year anniversary is on Monday.
Let's give
You
a
said
round of
10?
applause.
Two.
Two. She
No.
said two.
Oh, I heard.
to
We've
say
been
so.
together actually for 8 years, though. Consistently living
Right.
together for 8 years.
Married
Day
for
in
two.
and day out. Day after day.
Why are you looking at me like I need that confirmation? I believe
Right, I
you.
think that was a
Year
message.
after year. I left my wedding ring at home. My fingers are swollen. But yeah, 2 years. And
So let's give a round of applause to Love.
Now, clap for that.
You
I
got
want
it.
everyone to clap for that. Yes, you at that table. I want to see your hands move.
Hey, y'all remember that machine we told y'all for the applause? We just gonna bring Danie here, give her 2 drinks, make sure everybody clapping and applause.
Right.
Go ahead.
But on the topic of black love, there's a nice little show on OWN, Black Love.
Yes.
As a relationship coach.
I ain't watched that yet.
No, it's pretty good though. But as a relationship coach, because they talking about real issues. You have celebrities and just regular people talking about different topics. What have you seen? I know if you were watching it, you was probably like, ooh, popcorn, little tea every now and then. Like,
I actually haven't seen it.
You haven't
yet.
seen it?
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
Okay, so
It's okay though. But black love as a whole,
Okay.
as a movement, because that's a
Okay.
hashtag.
Yeah.
yes.
What do you think about it?
Talking to the mic.
I think black love is beautiful. I love black love. I live for black love. My space is black love, but we need to be real about black love. And I think when you see the hashtag black love, it's usually an engagement photo, a wedding photo, a date night photo. But there's so many other parts to black love that exists. Like, I don't want to talk to you right now. I don't want to be around you right now, but I'm still going down to the store. Do you want this Publix chicken tender sub or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's real.
That's love.
That's real, because that touched somebody's spirit right there. Like, that's real black love.
Are them Publix oatmeal cookies? Can you get me the cookies? But I know we ain't talking.
We're not talking, but I'm gonna.
I'm just gonna send this text.
I'm gonna send this text. Like,
she bought me the boar's head. She got me the boar's head turkey.
Oh yeah, she got
boar's
you.
head turkey.
Yes.
Right. You may not get a response, but you'll bring
They're
it
gonna show
back.
up with
You
it.
know she got it.
They might throw it at you too, but
Right.
you got
little
it. though.
stank eye, side eye. You may get it, but
So, what are some of the consistent problems as a relationship coach? What would you say are the top 2 problems that you've seen in your practice, your field of practice in South Florida?
I always get this question. I'm going to switch it up. The top 2 issues that I see is that when we argue, everybody's going to say communication, but when we're arguing about the wrong thing, meaning you're arguing about the issue. That's not why you're arguing. You're arguing about the style in which you argue. Does that make sense?
Yep. The way the issue was addressed
The
versus
way
the
the issue was addressed, as
Delivery.
opposed to whatever you're arguing about has nothing to do with anything. Quiet as it's kept. What it is the way you're addressing these issues and the way that you're talking to each other and how you choose to argue. That's the number one thing. And then number 2 is people are very like coy when it comes down to the person that you with. Like, you chose this person because you love them. Now love the person you chose. Like, seriously, like, how many of you guys are trying to stay together? Are you having sex in bathrooms? Okay. Are we sending, little nasty pictures during the day? Are you keeping the spark alive in your relationship? And I think it goes both ways. Men start to see this woman as a wife or a motherly figure, and so there are certain things that they don't want to share with them or tell them or do with them because they see them on this pedestal. And the same thing as women, we start feeling pressured, like, I'm this wife, I'm this mother or mother-to-be, or I'm this person, and so I don't want to be perceived as an HOE or a SLUT.
I got a lot I could say, but my grandma and my auntie told me they was gonna be watching this upcoming episode.
Wow.
So no, I'm just playing. That's real. I think a lot of people do get into a point where they get into a relationship and they just have a comfort zone and they quit. As I say, they love each other, but they stop liking each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, before you fell in love with somebody, you liked them. And
You
what were the
should've.
things
Right.
that you?
Right.
Yeah, hopefully you.
Hopefully. I mean.
And then you get into like a role.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then it's hard to get out of that role where you
Yes.
communicate the same way and you can't quite break that cycle. What do you tell people who are in that?
Yes.
How do they break the cycle?
I mean, them talking out there, boy. Them people in the crowd.
Somebody catching the Holy
There's
Ghost.
a lot of people over there having conversations.
I mean, I'm going to go ahead and do a shameless plug. Like, go ahead and go to www.iamdaniespikes.com.
Absolutely.
Schedule yourself an appointment. But essentially, it's doing something new. To get results that you've never had, you got to do something that you've never done. A lot of us know all of these amazing principles in the tech space, in the business space. But when it comes down to relationships, we let it all go out the window. If you're doing the same thing thing over and over again, you're going to keep getting the same results. The first step in getting something new or getting out of a cycle is to do something different. That's number one. That's simple.
I just wanted to kind of bring this full circle because when we do things, a lot of people may not understand why we do it. And you've brought up like 3 key points, and a lot of people, I mean, and not respectfully so, you're supposed to be here to socialize, but I'm doing a panel that's called The Love of Art and the Art of Business. And the basis of it was to try to communicate with people that some of the same problems that they face while addressing a relationship, some of the same problems that they address while facing love are normally some of the same failures they have when pursuing business.
Yep.
And a lot of people were like, what does a relationship coach have to do with Tech Beats and Bytes?
Everything.
And I'm like, love has everything to do with the passion as an entrepreneur.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because you have a lot of entrepreneurs that continuously fail because they continuously, like you just said, they keep trying the exact same things.
Same thing.
And they never switch it up. So you go to the same person when you're seeking funding. You go to the same crowd when you're seeking validation for your idea. So you keep following these same patterns and you keep failing in the exact same way.
Come on.
And then in a relationship, like you said, it's not the topic you're arguing about, it's the delivery. And a lot of people don't realize in business, their delivery is horrible, but the idea itself may be great. So your brand looks like shit. Your website look like you let your little cousin do it.
No.
And your messaging is just horrible. So it's not that you didn't have a good idea, but you're not taking that advice. And if you treat a business in an equivalency of how you treat the person you love, you'll see the same failures in a different way.
Absolutely.
So that's really why I wanted you. So just in case y'all thought this was accidental, we don't do nothing on accident.
Absolutely not. I mean, and then too, you have the flip side of that, where people who have businesses, they have a home life too.
Yes.
So
And it transpires.
there's a struggle
yeah.
with people if you're with someone who's not an entrepreneur because they may not understand that dynamic and what you have to do as an entrepreneur versus having a 9-to-5.
So let me talk really quick
Absolutely.
about work-life balance,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, please, because I was just about to ask you. Please give the advice to those that have decided to date. Hold on, we're gonna stop this real quick.
Come on now.
If you are in the crowd and you chose to date an entrepreneur
God help you.
or somebody that is not guaranteed a paycheck every 2 weeks,
God help
if they have to chase and kill what they eat, this is the part where I want you to pay attention, or otherwise call them and break up with them now because they tired of dealing with you. So if you can't pay attention at this very moment, this is why you're going to be single in about 3.5 moon cycles. So look, if you could, tell these people what it takes or what, because the flaws don't just lay in the person that's dating the entrepreneur.
Oh, no.
The flaws lay deeply within the person that's an entrepreneur because
Right.
we're usually obsessed with our craft.
Today is church.
It's a two-way
But
street.
please tell these people what it takes to be with an entrepreneur. Let's go.
Dig in that.
Let's unpack this.
I'm just drinking straight liquor after this.
Quiet.
No chaser.
Quiet as
No
a cat.
chaser.
I feel like I need to send Beats an invoice after this.
Oh, we're not trying to put all your goods out there.
Just
This
tell
a
us
teaser.
something.
Okay, y'all
Just-
love, now we want the sample.
Well, we want you to get your money. This is we promote. You an entrepreneur. Give them enough where they call you and be like, we need to
Exactly.
finish
This
that
is a
conversation.
teaser.
Start it off.
Teaser.
Just tell
Okay,
'em.
so I'm gonna give you some simple things. First of all, the word balance. You need to take that off the
Number
table.
one.
Balance is a stupid word. It does
Strike
not
it.
exist in your
Number
word.
one.
Okay. Instead, replace balance with inclusion. The biggest issue you have is that you're trying to separate something that wants to take over your entire life. Entrepreneurship is not a 9-to-5. So where you can compartmentalize a job for someone else, entrepreneurship is a lot of 2 a.m. emails, a lot of 6 p.m. dinners, a lot of canceled planned activities. So when you try to balance something that's trying to take over your life, you're going to lose. Include your partner. And that goes for the entrepreneur and the person dating the
If she
entrepreneur.
ain't showing up at your event, she don't really like you. I'm sorry.
Would you
say that out loud?
Come on
did.
now.
You did. You
You
did.
need to include them not only when you are doing something major, include them from the very inception of an idea, because believe it or not, you'll be surprised what fresh perspective your partner can bring to whatever it is that you're doing. Let them know not only what your passion is, but why are you passionate. Tell them your story. Be honest with them. Be as raw as you can with that person. And the reason why is because that's going to be your number one mouthpiece. Let me tell you something. Last night I was at a wedding. My husband secured 10 clients for me just
Won't
on
they
talking.
do it?
Hello?
They will do it.
Hello?
I need Jameson on the rocks.
Come
Just
on
straight
now.
up. No chaser.
Come
no chaser.
on. So stop trying to balance everything, because that means that you're trying to keep the person that you love away from the thing that you love. How much sense does that make? Come on now. Include them in that conversation. I love relationships, not only romantic ones, business relationships, friendships, partnerships, whatever type of relationship it is. And he understands that, because I was as raw and real about not only what I'm doing, but why I'm doing it. So when I launched Beloved Box, you know why we were able to make $16K in 4 months? It's because my husband was in there whipping that work with me, because he understands what each massage oil candle did. When I do spike brunches, he's in there whipping that lobster mac and cheese. Why? Because he understands that every couple, number one, our conversion
She's not talking
rate.
about Teach, by the way. I don't want none of y'all to get confused.
Actually, Teach did the lobster mac and cheese for our first spike brunch.
But he wasn't whipping. I don't want nobody to think that's your husband.
Oh,
We on the internet.
no,
We gotta-
Teach is not my husband. I'm so sorry. No,
Yeah, we
let's
gotta-
go ahead and make that
we
clear.
gotta clear that up.
No, because
You know
he's
that-
married, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
He's,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
married, beautiful children.
With
yeah.
children and everything. No.
But that's
Teach
what
is
I'm
not my
saying. A lot
husband.
of people around us are entrepreneurs, and a lot of people just get the confusion, like you said, of the balance. But I think with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this L for all the entrepreneurs.
Go ahead.
It's hard for us to stop dreaming in color. And sometimes you do have to do enough to make sure you're showing your partner you love them just as much as you love your business. So how do you advise some of these entrepreneurs to make sure they allow the loved one to feel just as special as that new project or that new client? Like, it's not a balance. To me, it's an equal obsession.
Absolutely.
You got to be as crazy about your partner as you are about that business.
Absolutely.
If you're not, both of them will fail somewhere.
Pretty much.
So how do you show your significant other that same kind of love?
That same kind of love. So the first thing that I would tell you, first of all, you need to know, how does your partner speak in love?
Love
Okay,
languages.
let's go ahead and
Love languages, yes.
let's go ahead and unpack that. What is your partner's love language?
Self-Born got a book right by
Reading
his
them
bed.
books.
He make them read the book when they get there. Self-Born be like,
That's what
I'll
I do.
take the quiz.
Come on now.
That's what happened.
Self-Born be like, identify your love
Right.
language. Let me see if I
Which
can make
one are you?
Let's see if we can make this work first and
test-
foremost.
Test by the bed. That's what I do. That's what I be doing.
Quiz first thing.
First thing.
Actually, you do it at the DJ booth. They don't even make it to the house. Self be like, read this book before you request a song. But go
And depending on what their love language is, create time around that. My partner's love language is quality time. So for myself and for my relationship, every year around our anniversary, I take a week off. And
dope.
that's just our time to travel. We always take
That's
a trip,
beautiful.
whether we're going to go see the boys play at the AT&T Stadium like last year, or this year I have a surprise. I don't know. He's probably
Who are
watching
the
this.
boys? Did you say
The Cowboys.
Oh.
He's a huge cowboy. Don't
Cowboy
do that.
fan.
What we not gonna do is that, because he done recruited me. Now I'm the biggest Cowboys fan this side of the
That's what I'm talking
Mississippi.
about. Ride with your man.
Come on now.
Ride
See,
with
she
the
got on the
Cowboys.
blue.
Ride with them.
Hello.
She got on the
And the
blue.
spike
can't-
brunch color is like a soft blue. We couldn't do the hard blue, but we did like a soft
Okay,
blue.
we got you. I
yeah,
appreciate
we
that.
incorporated in our life. But depending on what your partner's love language is, create time.
Hold up. So y'all not standing with Kaepernick? Y'all still going to the NFL games?
I think that's a different conversation. That was definitely not
Right.
an email.
Danie is talking about her love life
Okay.
and
Danny,
inclusion.
I'm gonna have to put down
Danny,
the
I can
law.
only do that with you.
Come
You know
on
how to.
now.
I'm just playing.
That's a different
I'm
type
just
of,
playing.
come on, don't do me like that.
It's all right.
The,
Come
language,
on.
the language
We
is
know.
true.
We know Jerry. We know Jerry is the real commissioner of the NFL anyway.
I just
so-
thought about something. Like, you know
Right.
what?
Yeah, we ain't
I
had a
had-
self-born question all day.
But not even a question. I just had a thought about a point that I had. Like, you know how you dating somebody and how your standards, you have your
Right.
what would you call it? Like your red flag list, or you're just, I'm not messing with you.
Oh,
I
you
found
talking
a
about
new one.
deal breakers.
Deal breakers,
There we
right.
go.
Deal breakers,
I
yeah.
had a recent deal breaker that I didn't even realize was a deal breaker, right?
Uh-oh.
So you're having a basic conversation,
Okay.
and then you say, man, gentrification is crazy. And then the girl says, What's gentrification?
Yeah.
Right. That
And then
was
the
it for you?
conversation stops.
Yeah. Man.
So hold on.
So,
That was a teachable moment.
just in case you didn't
So
know.
Danny, this is what I want to know. Was gentrification or stupidity his deal breaker?
His deal breaker was he just ain't got the time. Okay, I just
You
ain't
can't
got the
teach
patience.
everybody,
I
Self.
can't,
You
I
can't teach everybody.
each one teach one, but
You
got
got to
to
be on a certain level.
Not exactly.
Hold up,
He has-
Self, but we want to know. I'm sure Danny
What?
want to know. Did you explain gentrification to her, or did you just stop talking?
He
Really?
said the conversation stopped.
That conversation stopped.
Have you
And
talked to
because
her
this was a
since?
person of color. No.
Did you walk away from it? Did you just like
No,
walk away?
I
Or did
Like, did you
kinda
talk
like,
about something else, or did you just literally stop talking?
Self got up and walked
I
away.
explained it real quick, and here's what's unfortunate about a lot of this, because this leads to a question that I actually have. Anytime you talk about something black, once you bring it up as a black person, unfortunately, society has been kind of groomed to kind of give the energy of a get over it, let's stop talking about it, because it's too heavy and it's too much. So once you define a word like that, it changes the energy for anybody that doesn't know, because everybody that's not in the know, they're immediately taught to feel uncomfortable first before they receive the information. So they immediately feel uncomfortable.
A guard goes up.
That's and so.
And that's the challenge.
Yeah.
That would be my question then, Toya, because I'm thinking, Danny, if I do that, my thing is, when we love each other, we're supposed to be able to have tough conversations that may make both of us uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's about the end result we get to.
Absolutely.
If we can't have a tough conversation, then we're probably not going to work in the long run anyway.
So I got a question that leads from that. That goes
I
from that.
have a response about that. Tough
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
conversation.
Go ahead. Respond.
Oh, really quick. Here's a piece of advice. Again, I don't know who I send the invoice to, but we'll work that out later. When
Wynwood Yard, send it to them. You on their property. We can't afford it.
Here's
Go
a
ahead.
piece of advice in business or in relationships. Again, here's a golden nugget in business or in relationships. When it's time to have those tough conversations, start the tough conversation with your intention of why you're having the tough conversation.
Yep.
That navigates the conversation.
Makes it
really
Don't
smart.
just
True.
start the tough conversation. Honey, we need to talk about money. And the reason why we need to talk about money is because I really want us to buy a house next year. And the way that we're going right now, we're not going to be able to. Come on, brother. Come on.
That's
Where
a
the collection
good
play at?
entryway. That was good.
So that navigates your conversation.
Makes
So
it easy.
even in business, let me give you a business conversation. I had a wholesaler purchase 700
Hey, man, I
Beloved
need that
boxes.
drink right now.
Let Danny finish. Go, girl.
700 Beloved boxes.
Right.
They wanted it pretty much at cost, which is a loss for me. So I started that conversation with that person by saying, listen, I'm not going to be able, I want to have a conversation about the per cost of each box. And the reason why is that I want to make sure that you value my company as much as I value yours.
Right.
That changed the entire landscape of how that business deal ended. I won, they won, and now we're scheduled to do more conferences together. Does that make sense?
Absolutely,
does.
because it could have went left real fast.
Quick. You know what? I'm going to take my money elsewhere.
So
Right,
I'm
right.
going to have conversations of intent.
Come on now. Intention ministry.
Hey, David, I want you to calm down and focus the camera. Leave me alone.
We got a question.
Go
We
ahead.
got an audience
Go ahead,
question.
Q.
Hi, Danny. So we have two questions for you, actually.
We have the question portion of
Yeah, absolutely.
The first question is, do you find it more beneficial for an entrepreneur to date a person who has a 9-to-5 and a pension and steady income? Or do you think that entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs should date one another?
Don't ask the second question yet. Stay there. I wanted to answer this one. Go ahead.
Okay. So it
I have my opinion.
Okay.
Two broke people ain't gonna make it.
Come on.
Somebody need a check.
Mike, just calm down. Just calm down, Mike.
I'm a butter
I'm
that-
just being
that
100.
same
Right.
statement up. There are benefits to both.
Both, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It depends on what it is that you want. Now, understand that as an entrepreneur, you're going to have highs and lows. You have to remember on your highs.
Yes.
Okay, when you're getting those consistent checks, not to look down like, well, I dictate my own schedule. I make money when I want to because there
Or the
will come
Miami
a-
summer lows. Everybody slow down in the summer.
Exactly.
Also talk about the emotional highs and lows too. That's
Ooh.
real because you're an artist.
Closing the
As an
deal versus
entrepreneur,
a deal that walks away.
That
I have a
stress
theory.
is real.
Ooh.
You know, entrepreneur. We need to have a conversation about mental health and entrepreneurship.
Yes.
That's
just
a whole
as
nother. That's a whole nother session.
That's a whole
You'll be
nother
back.
day.
You'll be
I'll
back.
be back.
Actually, that ain't even a session.
That's like
we
a
gonna have to
whole-
do a spike brunch for entrepreneurs where we
Exactly.
just sit there and voice it out. 'Cause,
Yes.
Joey,
Exactly.
shout out to
actually gonna
Joey
be doing-
Digital. Joey used to do one.
Yeah.
Really?
Was Founders Therapy.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to bring founders therapy back.
I'm
Joey's
doing an
out
episode
busy.
of Tea Time with Alaire. She's in the audience.
Yeah,
And
Alaire's here,
Dwight
yeah.
Bullard and
Dwight-
Alaire, we're going to be doing an
So we
episode
just
of Tea
need to
Time
do
talking
another
about this kind of
one.
We
stuff.
need to do it all.
So go ahead. Let's get us question 2. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you finish it?
No, that's okay. We're done. Pretty much, it depends on what you want. You need to know yourself, which
what
is
you
another
can.
big thing. But personally, as an entrepreneur, I love the benefit of having someone who's stable because it's not only just the money coming in consistently, it's what that money coming in consistently represents to me. It anchors me and keeps me calm in the storm, and it reminds me that, you know what, it's going to be okay. So whether we have $10,000 in the bank or $10 in the bank, I still have that representation of being anchored.
Right.
For me.
True.
But dating another entrepreneur, you guys both are able to create
Both
your
of y'all
own
chasing a
schedule.
check, man.
So, I mean, there are benefits to that as well. What's question number 2?
Question number 2 was put like this. You have a potted plant. You plant the seed. Eventually, that flower is going to bloom, and it's going to grow out of that pot. What do you do as the person who you feel has grown beyond what that pot can hold? Do you stay? Do you leave? What do you do?
And so you're with somebody and you feel like you've outgrown that person?
Yes.
That's essentially what
Wait,
it
is the pot Kush? No, my bad. Go ahead. My bad. I'm sorry.
Hold up.
I listened
It's
to
a
So-
ceramic pot.
Is the seed
itself.
the seed is person
Yeah, I'm
1?
confused.
Is the seed person 1 and the pot is
It's
person
person
2?
I think the pot may be the relationship.
Who asked
The
this
pot-
question and
the
what are y'all
pot-
I
drinking?
got stuck on
Context.
you planted something.
Context.
You
The
planted
pot
something.
is the container of the relationship.
Exactly.
Wait, how many Dutches we got? Oh, no, wait, no.
Look, you just making it worse. Self.
So okay, hold up, Toya. So
Yes.
the pot is the
the
relationship.
pot is the relationship. That's the container that you're in.
Okay, the seed is person 1.
Right.
And who is person 2? The
Who
person
where's
planting
person
the seed?
is person 2 watching the pot? Or are
Maybe
they
it's
the
the
pot?
soil. The soil.
The
The
soil.
soil. See, I said
Y'all
it.
are just
No.
That's deep.
Oh, she
Not so
coming
much.
up. Is this you?
yes.
What's her question? We ruined her question?
Yeah, go ahead. Please,
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
simplify this.
Wait,
question.
Maybe
question
telephone didn't quite work this game.
I know.
Hello? Yes.
Something got lost in
Wait,
translation.
do you have a
need
Dutch? So
she
the
need a
important
phone.
question,
She
you got
need
a
a
Dutch
phone a
master in your
friend.
pocket?
Phone a friend. Go ahead.
Young man, I think you're overseeing this thing.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say, you start out a relationship, right? You put a plant into a pot. At the time when you put it in, they're appropriate for each other. But as the plant grows and it gets bigger, the pot doesn't grow. So you have to leave. So you're talking about people don't want to stay together. I'm telling you that sometimes, what do you do? How do you advise somebody when they've outgrown that pot?
Okay. All right, that's a better question. Okay, so first of all, if
Hold
we're
up, did you say young man? Why I was the only one that got a drink?
Right, you
Shit,
got
your
schooled
plate.
real quick.
Young man.
Damn, young man. Can I get a drink, please? Can I get a drink?
Look, you old enough?
I'm all emotional. I'm getting called out. Young man. I'm very old, young lady.
You got
Almost
schooled real
40.
quick.
You look
Oh,
like you
you
a
was
hot
going to the
26.
principal's office.
Young man. Go ahead.
I would say, first of all, assess the environment. If we're going to stay with the whole pot,
You got to stay with the pot
example.
theory now. She broke it all the way down.
right.
Let's go
So
with it.
let's assess the environment, because if you're in a place where you're growing and the relationship is growing, there is going to be a point of uncomfortableness when you go from the pot to your first piece of land, and then eventually from your first piece of land to the orchard. So is this really a time where you need to leave the plant alone altogether, or are you just in an uncomfortable space?
Or just call Home Depot and get a bigger pot.
Growing pains. That's all that is.
Yeah, I
It
mean-
just be growing pains.
Right.
Sometimes-
It
But
just be
if
growing
you
pains.
feel like this is really, if this is no longer the thing for you and it's time to leave,
Right.
you need to ask yourself the question, why? Like, why am I really leaving? Is it because I'm uncomfortable? Is it because
Right.
things aren't going my way? Essentially, if I met this person all over again, would I want to walk away? And then, this seems like a very specific situation that I may
Man.
need to know a little
They need
Sometimes
a
you have to walk away.
consultation.
Right.
Sometimes you have to walk away.
again,
We'll hold it down. So we'll
You
go.
have to walk away sometimes because you're
I
waiting
am
all the
the-
time. You call them. You're like, yo, you on your way? You got what you got? You got what I need? I don't know.
Yeah.
You on your way? And then
Yeah.
you take too long, and then you got to get another person for the pot.
That's another separate
Man.
situation.
Tired
that
of
we
this.
gonna need to talk
Right.
about.
Are we not? We having the same conversation? Wait, what are we talking
No,
about?
So that's,
Boy, you was
that's a
crazy.
different need.
But real quick,
That's a different
Why you
need.
always waiting? He always on his way. He always 5 minutes away.
Hey, but you could always translate that. Sometimes you need something and the person just don't come through. So
What
your
you tell
ass
him?
will get replaced if you don't give me what I need.
Yeah.
Well,
So be cognitive of somebody's needs.
Well, what is it that you need? Do you just need attention? Do you just need support?
I think it's different
Attention
for
or a
different people.
dub?
Yeah.
Or wait, you need a 10 spot? Wait,
Okay, can
what do we
someone
say?
please get the DJ a dime bag?
I didn't know. I don't know what we were talking about. My bad. Go ahead.
Right.
So
Oh.
no, we're gonna do our quick six with you.
Wait,
Danny.
but I
You've
got my
been-
last question real quick because this is specific.
You gonna
no,
do
seriously.
the last of the quick six?
Oh, okay. All right, go
You
ahead.
gonna
I'll let
do
you
the
do it.
la-
I'll let you do it.
But it got to be a quick question. So,
This is delicious.
But it's a specific answer
tell you what
that
it
we
is
all want to
later.
know.
Okay, thank you.
yes,
Good.
yes. So, Danny, a song or an album that represents. Let's go with what represents your business, song or an album.
Oh, come on, man. I gotta say something lovey-dovey.
No, you don't. You got to be real.
Keep it authentic.
My business is dope, man. Like, I have a fucking awesome business.
So, what's the name of the song?
Trap Queen.
Trap.
Look, let's roll with it.
We're gonna roll with it.
Hello?
Go ahead, Toy.
Roll
The
with
product sells itself. Hello?
Okay, I got that. That was dope. I got that. You pulled it
brought it
back
around.
together. You
She brought it around.
You was letting it go. Then you was like, I got this.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
me save it. Go ahead, Toy.
it. So we just had Irma.
Oh,
Natural
gosh.
disasters.
Yes, it was. I hope everyone collected their FEMA money as well. Disasterrelief.org.
Oh, nah, I
So
didn't do that, bro.
relationships. Do natural disasters break more relationships or make more relationships?
Wow, that was a good one, Toy.
That's really good. 'cause
That was
Appreciate
a
it.
good one.
That was good
So
in your
no.
pocket.
Let
Damn,
me tell you
Toya.
something. When the hurricane hit on Sunday, on Friday night, I had some DMs like, I need to schedule an appointment with you because this motherfucker's getting on my last nerve. It really lets you know what your relationship is made of, honestly. But also you have to understand that you're in a very tense situation. And so, people nerves are heightened. You're learning new things about the person that you're with, probably a side you've never seen before of panic and fear. But it just lets you know your partner at a deeper level. So now you know this person a little bit more intimately. Can you handle them in their purest form?
Cool. So we know your drink of choice, so we going to skip that one.
Is it this?
It's going to be after I tell you what it is.
Oh, yes.
So,
The Bill Cosby. Sorry.
What?
Wait, what?
I didn't
missed
say
that.
anything.
don't
worry. Don't worry if you get
we
sleepy.
can't even edit that one out.
Let
I
it
missed that.
slide.
What was it?
Let
No,
it slide.
nothing. Let it go.
Yeah,
Let it go.
I'ma
Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
This
So,
time.
You set me up.
so if you had to pick
Uh-huh.
a movie that best represents most of your clients,
Jesus.
what movie would that be?
Waiting to exhale.
Man.
And now we know why a lot of people single in South Florida. Go
Hello?
ahead, Toya.
Yeah.
All right,
Hello,
so
somebody.
our theme for today was superheroes.
Yes.
What would be your superhero alter ego name?
Godiva. It's tattooed on my thigh. Mind your business. Judge
Wow.
your mammy. Godiva wears. Do I describe her?
No,
Or
no,
just-
that's
No,
cool.
no, that's
We
cool.
got it.
We know
Oh, yeah.
Lady Godiva.
We got it.
Gonna let that go.
We got it.
You get the
We know all
gist.
about Lady Godiva.
Okay.
Man.
You looking at me differently. People like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Look,
So,
I don't need to
some
drink this
more.
no more.
Some
I'm
more.
gonna
My question.
That's
my
gonna
last
be
question.
your new favorite drink. I'm telling you.
good.
I'm gonna ask one more after you self-born, but you want to
Okay.
do the closer or you want me to do my left?
Well, I mean, hey, you could do it. It's kind of a serious question. I would like a serious answer. As silly
Okay,
as
you
we
go
get.
and I'll close.
Okay.
Go ahead.
In all seriousness, like we brought up talking about black this, black that. In what way, when we talk about black love, would you say, and even say, do you think it's possible that we can promote black love while not alienating everybody else's love? Because somehow there's this disconnect or there's this kind of like line drawn where as soon as you talk about loving black, it's insinuated somehow that you're excluding everybody else and you essentially are saying, F everybody else, I only want to love black. So can we, is there a bridge we can do with it? Like, just talk about your theory on that, especially because we're streaming,
quick
we're
answer,
online.
just a real quick
and how we talk about, because my main statement is that when we say we love black, we're saying we love everybody because everybody is of black if you really know your history. So talk about the inclusion of love and black love and what that means.
Inclusion of love and black love just meaning that you want people to love themselves and love each other better. And that's it. It's all about love. It's nothing more, nothing less. Love is a very complicated definition, but
that.
it's a very simple thing.
I like that. I like that a lot.
that was
So, 5 years from now, you're still a relationship coach. You still got Spike Brunch. Miami Herald runs the perfect headline for you. What does that headline read?
Beloved app changes the way that people love themselves and each other.
That's what I like. So look, y'all, as funny as it was, it's some gems that came in this
Come on
conversation. And let's give a round of applause for Danie Spikes.
Danie Spikes, thank you for coming.
Thank you. See,
Just
more
so
people
she
clap.
knows her drink of choice. Yeah, they started paying attention a little later.
know.
Her drink of
Give me
choice
my
is going to be
props.
Jameson and ginger beer. But that's what you drinking. That's Jameson and ginger beer.
So you
I got you. Yes,
And I want to hear more stories from
that
Danie.
conversion.
I know she got stories.
Conversion
I already know.
ratio. So shout out to our co-partners and the ones that help us put this together. World famous House of Mac. This is myself and with Toya. My name is Michael. This Digital Grass. This is Tech Beats and Bytes. We'll see you next week. We're here
Next
every Monday,
time.
6 to 10 p.m. And stay tuned for TBB karaoke. We're going to sing our hearts out.
Karaoke.
Shout out to Self-Born.
about to get out here and make a fool of myself.
Thank you, Dante. Good job. Let's go.